my friends, welcome. My name is Erica. Thank you so much for tuning in, especially my new friends on here. I'm so happy to have you. I felt such a pull this morning to create this video for you guys. This is a Dharma Talk that is resonating so deeply in my soul right now. Honestly, it's something that as long as I've been teaching, it's something that I've sort of avoided in a little bit of a way, as much as it's a big part of my personal practice. It's something that I know could be a little bit controversial, and even though I've hinted at it and taught around it a little bit here and there, I've never really tackled it head on the way I intend to in this video. I hope it's really helpful. I hope it's really powerful. I think this is honestly sort of the pinnacle of our spiritual practices. So before we break down what we're going to break down, which the Sanskrit word is Ishvara Pranidhana, which translates to the practice of surrender. So we're going to get real deep into that in a second, but first I'll just invite everyone to sit up nice and tall, find that length, that integrity in the spine. Go ahead and close your eyes. And as always, just giving ourselves a few really steady breaths just to arrive, to land, to check in. We'll be here for a little while, so as always, if you need to support yourself with a block or a blanket underneath the sits bones to help keep the length in the spine, please honor that as you press the shoulders back, as you just keep that nice buoyancy in the sternum, in the heart. Start to relax the jaw, soften the facial muscles. And once you release the attachment to the physical seat, then really starting to turn that awareness and that intention towards the breath. Taking those really big, expansive belly breaths, right? Just follow that rhythm. Big inhale, feel that expansion of the rib cage. Full exhale for the contraction where you really empty out at the bottom of the breath. And just continue like that. Trying not to manipulate it, allowing it to be whatever it needs to be as you land. But of course, noticing how much it will shift, it will change, it will morph as we breathe together, as we tackle this Dharma Talk. As you settle deeper into your breath, feel the shoulders melt. Simultaneously feel the crown draw higher or ascend. Just taking a few more breaths here. Soft, easy, mindful, always loving. Notice any tension, any resistance. As you begin to release it, feel that really strong breath travel into every crevice of the body. Allow the breath to saturate every cell, every fiber, every muscle. So we just become receptive. The energetic body really opens, feels nourished by the breath. and really ready to make space to breathe into this Dharma. And as you stay with that breath, eyes can stay nice and heavy, really keeping us in that internal place. So the Dharma that I want to offer today is part of the Yoga Sutras. And if you're not familiar, you've probably heard it in class before. The Yoga Sutras is really pretty much, in my opinion, like the Bible of yoga. And it's broken down a lot. We break this down a lot further in like the philosophy module of a teacher training. But I'm sure as yogis, you've definitely heard parts of this, parts of the yamas and niyamas in classes before. So the one that we're breaking down today is the last niyama, which is part of our ethical observances or behaviors. And in my opinion, this one is the last niyama because it's such a loaded thing, right? Ishvara Pranidhana, the practice of surrender, is something that I have, because of the controversy that it can evoke and the way that people feel when we hear the word God sometimes, I've really kind of shied away from it in teaching in class. But I don't feel that way anymore, and I feel such a strong pull today to share this because I think 3, 4, 5 years ago, maybe I didn't feel ready to offer this Dharma because I wasn't in that place with that really strong faith and surrender. But today I can say that I am 1,000% definitively in that place. So it just felt really authentic to share this today. Before we break it down, I first want to invite everyone to think about, right? I think the word surrender in itself, let alone the whole word, the G word, the word surrender can also be a really loaded question. I know I live in New York City. I know a lot of New Yorkers, a lot of type A personalities, right? The word surrender for some people, I think, has a scary connotation because people think of surrender and they think of releasing control or releasing power. But in a spiritual sense, the word surrender can be interpreted so different. So I first want to invite everyone to turn our awareness first to how much we surrender on the mat as yoga practitioners. Right? I think we almost don't even realize how much we're already practicing surrender, right? So just right now, we are surrendering to stillness. We are surrendering to the truth within silence. As yogis, we surrender to the wisdom, the clarity that comes from our pranayama practice or our breath practice. We surrender to discomfort in yoga postures. We surrender to challenges within those asanas. We surrender to the pauses in those postures, or we surrender to the pauses in the transitions between postures. And lastly, right, we surrender at the very end of every practice to Shavasana, that final resting pose, that final meditation. We completely let go and we completely open ourselves up. So I first just want to invite everyone to think about how much, maybe the days that we're not even cognizant of that, right? How much we're already practicing surrender, releasing control, or releasing that so-called power. And I love to always take our practice on the mat, right? As information, as inspiration of how we can take these life-changing and transformative tools on the mat, how we can translate them off the mat into our everyday lives. So now as you start to breathe into and feel more comfortable perhaps with that word surrender in a deeper spiritual sense, how now can we process this word in terms of our spiritual practice, right? Not breath, not movement, but really our spiritual practice. And even though I've shied away over the years, I've always in my classes about this Dharma or this Yoga Sutra, I have always been really consistent in, even though I personally use the word God, I always invite my students and private clients and mentees, I always invite everyone to choose what they're comfortable with, or however you refer to that higher power, whether you use the word God, spirit, source, the universe. I always invite you to choose what you're comfortable with and what resonates with your practice, with your body, with your heart. So however you call that or define that higher power, this sutra, Ishvara Pranidhana, is all about that surrender to whatever that is that you call it. Releasing that ability to control, releasing those doubts, and stepping further into our faith. So as you start to breathe a little bit deeper here, maybe start to feel yourself go one layer deeper internally into the emotional self, into the energetic body. In this moment, how deep is your surrender? Are we still trying to control or manipulate the outcome? Or has our yoga practice really helped us to keep that control at bay and to have complete faith in that higher power, that journey that was chosen for us, where we're being guided, who we're being guided to, our destiny? Are we allowing ourselves every time we step onto the yoga mat and show up for ourselves? Are we really peeling back those layers and surrendering so deeply with that faith, with that unshakable faith? And I know it's a loaded question, right? That trust, I think, is really the most vulnerable, and again, it's the pinnacle point, the pinnacle question, the most loaded question of our yoga practice. It's source, it's spirit, it's God, it's the universe. It's our relationship to that. It's our faith in that. It's our trust in that. And just noticing here as you consider it further, the triggers in the body, the sensations, the thoughts, the feelings. Does it evoke fear? Does it evoke love? With the ultimate question that I want to leave everyone with today is if we are still trying to control, if we are still having those fears within us, can we continue to practice Ishvara Pranidhana and give ourselves that gift of not having to always know what's ahead, but trusting that what's ahead will serve us best, will support us best. Do we believe that what's ahead, the blessings that are coming our way, are so much greater than anything we've ever anticipated? Do you trust that everything that you need is on its way to you? Can every day serve as an opportunity to surrender even deeper, to exhale every doubt, every fear, every opportunity to not trust, to control, and instead to just invite in with every inhale love and faith. Gently join the hands at heart center and just feel that connection as you join the left and right side body, the feminine and masculine, the yin and the yang, as you feel that friction, that heat, that energy, that prana between the palms. As you allow our bodies always to just be this conduit between earth and sky, this conduit of energy. This conduit of faith. And just giving yourself these last few moments together to breathe that gratitude in, not only for where your guide, however you define it, God, source, spirit, the universe, your divine. Just taking these last few breaths of gratitude, not only for where that is guiding us or taking us, but also a few breaths of gratitude for yourself, that you carve this time out of your day to watch this video, to self-care, to turn inward, to deepen the relationship with ourselves, to deepen the relationship with those universal energies. I commend and applaud each and every one of you. Take one more breath in through the nose. Big cleansing breath out through the mouth. And gently lift the gaze and open the eyes. You guys are the best. Thank you so much for sharing this with me. If you want to break this down even further, we'll be doing this all week in my classes. I hope to see you soon, guys. All my love.